Bootstrap. All right. I'm pretty familiar with how to do these. I've done a couple courses on Bootstrap before, so hopefully this section will be a breeze for both you and I. So first and foremost, you need to be able to download and install Bootstrap. So you're going to want to get yourself familiar with getbootstrap.com, the official website for Bootstrap. Now, a lot of people call Bootstrap Twitter Bootstrap because, well, it was created by a couple dudes at Twitter, but they've kind of rebranded Bootstrap to just, or Twitter Bootstrap to just Bootstrap. It's more simple, and it's so commonly known now that they don't need to use Twitter in the name to get people to try it out and use it. It's the most popular framework for responsive projects on the web, as it says right there in front of my face. Okay, getbootstrap.com. Click download Bootstrap. And now it's going to take you to the getting started page and scroll you down to the download link here. Basically, there's a lot of different ways to download and use Bootstrap, and we're not going to cover every single one of them because some of them are out of the scope of this course, and some of them are just not necessary. It's actually quite simple to download Bootstrap and get started, and that's really all you need to know. And if you're a hardcore developer or you want to get into the intricate details of the downloads and stuff like that, then for sure, have at it. But for this course, we just need to download good old Bootstrap and get started with coding. You know what I mean? Yuck. Anyway, so here we go. Download. So basically, currently we're working with the version 3.3.5. Bootstrap usually updates pretty frequently, and you're going to want to keep an eye on that. And so, like they say here, a few easy ways to quickly get started, and each one appealing to a different skill level and use case. Read through to see what suits your particular needs. So basically we have the first option is Bootstrap. The compiled and minified CSS, JavaScript, and fonts. No docs or original source files are included. This one is going to be the one you're really going to want to work with. But just to talk about these, so source code basically gives you the less files, and less is a style sheet language for CSS. And it's kind of an advanced, super advanced version of CSS and helps you speed things up by using what is called a compiler, and it lets you write kind of easy, kind of short versions of CSS and a whole bunch of stuff like that. And we'll touch on that either later in this section or in some upcoming new material as we go on in the coming weeks and such. Anyway, that's what gives you this. And if you're familiar with less, then you can feel free to play around with that. And Sass, same deal. It's just a different kind of style sheet language, similar to less. Some people like one or the other. Now the Bootstrap CDN, we've talked about CDNs before with jQuery and everything like that, and you can most certainly use the CDN. In fact, I think we will use the CDN because you don't have to do any downloading. You can just, copy this stuff right here. They just give you a copy to clipboard link and everything and paste it in your code. That's pretty cool. You can install with Bower and NPM. That's if you're wanting to use the terminal in your in your computer, and so on and so forth. There's a bunch of different ways. Lets you know what's included. Some of the plugins require jQuery, so we got to make sure that you have jQuery hooked in there. Good thing you know all about jQuery now. And then it gives you just kind of the deal, what's going on here. And the source code, it gives you just the structure and the directory kind of map so you know what's going on. And then there's just more stuff here that you could know. You can go through if you really want, but we're just going to get started with downloading and using the CDN. So first, just click Download Bootstrap. That's going to give you the latest, freshest, most hot copy of Bootstrap right down here. And I'll just run through the files with you really quick. So here we have the latest version, 3.3.5 for me. You might have a more updated version. And then here in the basic version, you have the CSS, fonts, and JS. Starting with CSS, you get the theme files, the theme minified CSS. You also get the Bootstrap CSS and the minified CSS. Fonts, you kind of get some glyph icons here, where you can there's different extensions, and they use that for when you want to use font icons, and we'll get into that. And JS, JavaScript, we've got Bootstrap and minified version of Bootstrap. It's really all you need. NPM is just auto-generated if you were using NPM, so you can delete that if you so desire. Now, that's how you download Bootstrap. Now, to install Bootstrap, you're going to need to have something to install it in. So on my desktop here, same with you, you should create a directory called Bootstrap or whatever you want, but I'm going to call it Bootstrap. And in there, it's empty. I have it here in my code editor, right here in brackets. It's empty, and you're going to want to start off and create a new file. Call that bad boy index.html, and there's your index.html file. You're also going to need to drag that Bootstrap directory or download that you just downloaded and pull it into your Bootstrap folder here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And here we go. I've just pulled it in there. You can see Bootstrap 3.3.5-dist, and it's got all the stuff there. Now, there's a couple ways you can do this. You're going to need to have your basic HTML structure there. So go ahead and write that out or copy it from a previous HTML page you've been working with. Now, luckily, Bootstrap or getbootstrap.com has provided everything we need to get started. So on the Getting Started page, if you scroll down, you'll see the basic template. So basically, start with this basic HTML template or modify these examples here. We hope you'll customize your templates, examples, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, here they just give you straight up the basic structure that you need to work with. So why don't we just copy it, and then we'll go through it and comb out what we don't need if necessary. So copy to the clipboard. Go to your index.html and paste that bad boy. So here is your HTML. A little condensed looking for my preference, but that's okay. So basically got our doc type. We have the language attribute here. Lets you know it's English. You could change that to FR or whatever if you want to change to different languages. Doesn't change your HTML. It just tells the browser some more information about what it is about to experience. And so just some meta tags here for character sets. This sort of stuff helps make Internet Explorer a little bit more compatible. You can read about those things by Googling. No need to talk about them right here. Viewport with device width initial scale 1. This is something you haven't seen yet. Basically, this tells the browser, hey, I'm a responsive site, so make the viewport the device width and the initial scale 1, so 100%. So it basically tells the viewport, which is the screen size, to look for the device width. Now, is it 1280? Is it 480? Is it 568 pixels, that is? And basically, it just gets you started to be able to build responsive websites. Now, responsive websites, if you don't know, are basically mobile-friendly websites. The websites that adapt and respond to the screen size. So whether you're on a phone, you're on a 27-inch iMac, you're on an iPad, you're on an Android device, so on and so forth. And this says the above 3 meta tags must come first in the head. Any other head content must come after these tags. So I guess obey that. Now, Bootstrap, this is the CSS to the Bootstrap. So now it's just assuming that you have the CSS in your CSS directory. We're going to have to change this because we have Bootstrap in this directory right here. Now, we can rename this so it's a little bit easier, and I recommend keeping it out of your own CSS and JavaScript. Don't modify this stuff directly because if you need to update to a newer version, all you really have to do is just copy a new version and paste it in here. So like so. I'm just going to rename this to Bootstrap. And let's just leave it as is. And then you could just upload new versions of this if there's any new versions of Bootstrap. And so now we need to hook this into Bootstrap, and then in CSS, we'll be looking for Bootstrap min CSS. That's there. Good. Okay, we're good. Now, HTML5 shim, respond.js, and some Internet Explorer conditional comments. Basically, this, we've already kind of talked about this in the past. This is just lets Internet Explorer 9 and lower to let them know, hey, you're going to have to upload these scripts to your to the web page because you're not very smart. And this is going to help you. Now move along. That's basically what that's saying. Now, out of our head tag, we got the body tag, just a basic hello world. jQuery, necessary for working with Bootstrap's JavaScript plugins. It's just pulling in a CDN version. You can leave that, or you can use your own CDN that we've been working with. And include all compiled plugins below, or include individual files as needed. So basically this hooks in the JavaScript. Now, if you look here, it's just giving you all of the JavaScript, bootstrap.js. Lets you have all of the plugins compiled. Plugins in Bootstrap let you do things like modal windows, pop-ups, buttons, grids, all the things. There's lots of stuff Bootstrap lets you do. It's really cool. And this just has all of them built into one. So I suggest using the minified version. And again, it's not in JS. It is in Bootstrap/JS and Bootstrap Min. So there we go. Now let's check this out in our browser here. And here we go. It looks like we have it. It's hooked in. I can tell just from experience that it's working because it's pulling in the CSS. This isn't the default text, but I know it's working. And just as proof that it's working, I could do something like this just to show you. I'm just going to do a Bootstrap style that I already know. This is a button. And then I'm going to add a class. This is going to say button to prove that it's real. Here we go. This is a button. There you go. So Bootstrap is hooked in there. We have our JavaScript. We have the HTML5 shiv and respond.js, jQuery, the Bootstrap plugins and CSS. So we're good to go and rip roaring ready to jump into Bootstrap to build some sites fast.